Okay, now without any further ado, the moment you've all been waiting for, the most fantastic pair of gymnastic musicians I've ever heard. The gymnastics, they perform with their fingers. I didn't mean they stand on their heads. Anyway, put your hands together for Jennifer and Hazel Wrigley, all the way from the Orkney Islands.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello there. It's lovely to be here. What a lovely island you have. Well, we are the Wrigley Sisters, all the way from sunny Scotland. Not quite as sunny as it is here. I love your suntans, very impressive. What do you think of ours? Well, we started there with a strathspey for you, called the Marquis of Huntly's Farewell, from Scotland, from Huntly, believe it or not. And then Ashley's Strathspey from the west of Scotland, Ashley's Reel, which is just the reel of the Strathspey, and then 2 reels from Orkney, where we come from, written by a piano key accordionist called Billy Peace. He didn't know what to call them, so we named them for him Billy Pieces number 1 and Billy Pieces number 2. Easy as that. We're going to carry on now with a couple of tunes of our latest album, Skyrin, which we just happen to have with us. The first is called Newark Bay. It's for a beach near where we grew up in Orkney, called Newark Bay. And from there, you can see the island of Coppensea. And Coppensea at one time had 1 inhabitant. Nobody lives on Coppensea any longer, but at one time there was a farmer that lived there. He was the only inhabitant of the island, and he was desperately looking for a wife, which obviously can be a bit of a problem when you're the only inhabitant of the island. But he had to make do with this sea creature, which was a sort of cross between a seal, a piece of seaweed, and a mop. And this sea creature used to make him cups of tea in bed in the morning and things like that. They had a wonderful relationship until the farmer found himself a wife, and the Bruni o' Coppensea was never to be seen again. So I don't know what happened to it. The Bruni, maybe he's to be seen late on a Saturday night in Hobart. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, we're going to carry on now with a couple of jigs. Hazel's going to play the piano for anyone that's unfamiliar with that instrument. I'm really glad. Actually, I have to tell you a story about a piano in Orkney that I often have to play. It's in Shappensea, and Shappensea is a little tiny island that has an annual dance, which you can't avoid. It's too good. We go there and play, or we certainly used to go there and play every year. And the piano in Shappensea has got a problem with its middle 8 notes. I actually went up and played the Shappensea piano once and discovered that the 8 notes hadn't been fixed from the last time I'd forgotten about it. And opened the lid up to see if I could fix it, and discovered 3 bottles of whiskey inside that someone had left there. I think it was a safe place to put it. I don't know if any of you are pianists, but the middle 8 notes are pretty fundamental. So I was just checking this piano, and it does seem to be working. So I'm quite pleased. You're going to get much more of your money's worth. Far more notes. I don't know, would you take the 8 notes or the whiskey? The whiskey.
I actually got both.
That's right. Okay, well, these 2 jigs start with one that I named for the place I went every Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, for many, many years for my violin lesson. It's called Greatness House. And then a tune I named Strolling Doon da Strand. I'm presuming that you all know exactly where the Orkney Islands are.
Well, actually,
Confidence.
somebody in Victoria, I'm sure there's no one from Victoria here, but somebody shouted out at the concert the other day, somewhere off Tassie. So you should know where Orkney is.
But for those of you who haven't seen it from off Tassie, basically, if you get yourself over to England, and then Scotland, of course, is above England, yes? Just nod your heads and agree if you're not sure. Scotland's above England, and then above Scotland are the Orkney Islands. We're about 10 miles by sea, right off the north coast of Scotland. There are about 70 islands in Orkney. There's one island in the middle, which is arguably the most important and also arguably the biggest, and it's named the mainland, for obvious reasons. And the capital of Orkney is Kirkwall, and it's on the mainland. The city of Kirkwall, we're a city because we have a cathedral. Ooh, do you have a cathedral in Hobart? You do, so you know what city status is like then. Next door to the cathedral, there is a little pedestrian walkway called the Strand, which is a little bit like the Strand in London, but not quite so big. And and the Strand is just about wide enough to get a car down it. Gives you an idea. Apparently someone tried actually to drive a car down it the other day. Didn't quite make it to the bottom.
It's still there, actually.
I think it's still there.
Stuck halfway.
So the Strand has got many amenities. You can start at the top and get ready your children at the nursery, PD Breeks nursery. Then you can carry on down and stop at the coffee shop for a big cup of tea and a piece of cake. And then you can head back up the hill and get your teeth removed at the dentist. So lots of amenities. But I like to think of it as being more like Orkney's fashion boulevard, where all Arcadians go to strut the latest Italian fashions, which we love doing all the time in Orkney. And isn't that funny? And of course, I found this incredibly smelly tartan shopping bag, like a trolley thing that you pull along behind you, kind of like what you see at the airport in Melbourne, but not quite so sophisticated. And it stank to high heaven. Stank. It was disgusting. And I turned to Hazel and said, My goodness, this would be fantastic for strolling down the Strand. So that's where the tune came from. If you would like to do some strutting, we'd love to see the latest Tasmanian fashions. There's a little bit of an aisle here, and perhaps you want to swing from the rafters. That works quite good. You might want to take your shoes off first and your teeth out.
I've finished. Well done. Excellent strutting, by the way. Very impressed. We're going to play one that you might be slightly better at now, seeing as the dancing was so fantastic. This is a lullaby. And you can join in with this by sleeping if you like. It was written by an Arcadian called Ali Winnock. Ali passed away, I think, last year. We ought to dedicate this, I think, to Dougie Scherer, actually. Jennifer and both of ours. Yes, Jennifer and I, we both had our first music lesson of this chap, Dougie Scherer, who passed away, I think it was last week. So it would be nice to play that for him. Long way away for us. Not very much chance of being able to say goodbye in any other way, so we'll play the lullaby. It's called Sleepy Laddie, and it was written by Ali. So what you have to do is shut your eyes and go to sleep.
Thank you very much. So that was a little waltz that I composed for Magnus, the patron saint of Orkney, Saint Magnus, Magnus's waltz, and then a tune that Hazel composed for the sort of Scottish influence, if you like, in Orkney. We had a lot of what we called Jimmy Shandites coming across on the radio. And then, of course, a swingier one for the swingy influence that came across on the radio also. Shall we do the one for the trowies? I think the trowies. Well, this is a tune for all the peedy folk, as we say in Orkney, or the small people. The peedy folk that come out at night and dance. So there's no pressure to dance or anything, but if you don't feel like it, it would help.
You're especially supposed to be dancing if you've got little, if you're quite little and you've got really big feet, and you have to be quite hairy as well.
This
Anybody that fits that description in the room?
This suits, you see, people in, well, these little trowies, we call them, or trolls, related to the Norwegian trolls. They were very small so that they didn't catch the wind quite so badly and blow away. And they had big feet to hold them down. But these trowies and trolls lived in a how near where we grew up in Derness, in a how which is like a man-made bump on the horizon, and it's called Dingy's How. And it's said that these trowies, well, we know this for certain actually, that the trowies are addicted to fiddle music. Who can blame them? And they're addicted to fiddle music, and if you happen to be passing with a fiddle under your arm, then they'll rush out from the how, from Dingy's How, and grab you and take you inside the how to play music for them all night. And right enough, you do get showered with the whiskey as well, which helps. But when you come out, it's only been a few hours you've been in there, but when you come out, trowie time is different to real time, and actually 30 years has passed. And the roof of your house is blown off, gone to Norway, and your dinner is cold on the table. And I wrote a tune for these little trowies that live in Dingy's How, and I named it the Dingy's How Dancers.
Thank you very much. We're going to finish this first little set for you now, so you can go and reload your glasses and buy some CDs, of course, while you're there. The CDs are cheap in exchange for $30. And we actually had quite a big effort smuggling them into the country. So it's going to be very embarrassing if we have to smuggle them all the way back out again.
They actually make very good coasters, particularly if you're going to drink out of the bottle.
Okay, so having said that, you've head to the south of Scotland, to the south of Orkney, even is Scotland. To the north is Shetland and Iceland. To the east is Norway, Denmark, Sweden and Finland. You just heard the Norwegian influence. And then really close, just a hop across the Atlantic, North America, which is where this next tune comes from. The guitar music of the 1930s and 40s. You might have noticed that the accompaniment is ever so slightly swingy. This is down to the fact that in the 1930s and 40s, musicians in Orkney, particularly one man from Shetland called Peary Willie Johnson, was listening to the shortwave radio for his inspiration. On the guitar, he was the proud owner of one of, we think, 3 guitars in Shetland in the 30s. You have to remember, in a place that has absolutely no trees, a guitar is as serious a luxury item. Serious. Much more exclusive than a violin, because you need much more wood to make it, and a piano,
Watch it, there are quite a few violinists in the room.
A few fiddlers, right enough. Okay, I'll keep stoop. So Willie was learning, as you can imagine, across the Atlantic. Hot Club of France, Django Reinhardt, Stefan Grappelli. And you can hear that in the music now. I'm lucky enough to know Willie and to have had a little bit of help from him. He's 82 this year, and we're going to play this for him. It's called We Think.
The Orkney Isles hornpipe.
Orkney Isles hornpipe. So it's got that kind of swingy element. And the tune, actually, the third tune comes from Italy, so we're really going to do the rounds here today. The first tune is an Orkney tune, Orkney Isles hornpipe, followed by Toe Reed, a man called Toe Reed. And the third tune is an Italian tune, because around 200 years ago, of course you knew this, because you're all wearing flashy shoes, Scotland was invaded by Italian fiddle players. They came in their hundreds, thousands even. Quite frightening, really. Fiddle players at the best of times are quite So we're going to play you it. You should be able to hear the Italian flashy influence, particularly a man called Scott Skinner, who enjoyed playing the flashy tunes because he was an extremely flashy fiddle player himself. He would play the fiddle standing on his head with his kilt on. So we'll see you very, very shortly. Don't go away.
See you shortly, don't go away. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello again. Hope you've had lots to drink. We're going to sound much, much better. This is that set of tunes I composed for the Norwegians who played the Hardanger fiddle, which is the traditional instrument of Norway. It's very much like a normal fiddle to play, except it has 5 sympathetic strings that sit underneath the top 4 and they just resonate. And so it creates this big stringy sound. But we only have one Hardanger fiddle in Orkney. It was gifted to us by the Norwegians, and we all have to share it. So it means that when I don't have the Hardanger, I have to try and replicate the sound of it on the fiddle. So that was compliments to the Orkney-Norway Friendship Association and the Mistership. So we're going to play a set of reels now. If you're up for dancing, are you? Bursting with enthusiasm, I can tell.
We should just check, really. Can you understand her okay? Would you like me to translate?
Would you like to learn some Arcadian? Yes. It would help us to be able to understand you anyway. In Orkney, you don't have to worry too much because if you go to Orkney, you won't need to say very much because a lot of the women in Orkney speak all the time. And you're lucky, actually, if you can get a word in edgeways. But the husbands of these lovely women occasionally get a chance to say something. That's when their lovely wives have to stop speaking for a second to draw breath. And then, of course, there's a terribly embarrassing silence, as you can imagine. And at that point, you can fill in very easily. There are 1 or 2 things you can say. I heard somebody saying one of them anyway. What we say basically means everything. It means yes, no, maybe, I agree with my wife, but really I don't. Tomorrow, today, yes, absolutely, anything at all, whatever. What a lot of rubbish. All you have to do is very easy. You have to put your hands in your pockets because that helps you to get up to the high notes. You'll remember, of course, that Arcadians always go up and down at the end of their sentences. So put your hands in your pockets, and you might want to tuck your teeth out if you've got that option. That helps to get the authenticity of the Arcadian. And so we're going to go, yes, yes, yes. Now, it's even more effective if you can shake your head at the same time. So let's give it a little try. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes. Excellent.
That's brilliant.
I tell you something, you're moving a bit too fast, though. You know, you're awfully cosmopolitan here in Tasmania, and you just go too quick. So we try it again, but slow down a bit. Okay. No. Did I hear somebody say no? Okay, well, apart from that person, after 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes. That was it. Perfect. Well done. And that's as close as we're going to get to a sing-along.
Actually, there's a really good reason why we don't sing in Orkney, and that is because of the wind. It is so windy in Orkney that if you open your mouth very widely for a long period of time, there's a danger that something might fly inside. Like a chicken or a shed or something like that. So we're going to play these tunes also dedicated to windy Orkney. No, it's so windy in Orkney, we don't have any trees. We've only got 1 tree.
There are 1 or 2 trees. I know that there's 1 at least because I planted it. Planted it when I was 8 years old, and it's probably no bigger than me now. So
gives you an idea of the ratio. Mine got eaten by the goat. Poor goat, I don't think I'd ever seen anything as exotic as a tree before. It ran straight for it. I hope I had a stomach ache. Anyway, so these tunes, the whirl reels, the first one is for a machine that they used to use for spinning rope called the Tammy Spindle. Second one is an Orkney tune written by Pat Scherer called the Stronsey Weaver. And the last one is one that Jennifer composed as well, and it's new. It's called the Spinning Cat. So it's all for weaving and spinning noises. Any weavers in? Yeah. Well, the spinning cat, of course, is the noise that the cat is supposed to make when it's purring. It's supposed to sound like the spinning wheel going around. So that's why they call it the spinning cat. And actually, they still use that word in Scandinavia, and I think Holland as well, in Dutch. Spinnen cat is the cat that purrs like a spinning wheel. But actually, we've got another kind of use for the spinning cat, if you like. It does spin quite nicely when it gets extremely windy in Orkney. And what you can do is the anemometer usually breaks when it gets really windy, and all they can tell you at the Met Office is that the gauge broke at 218.647 miles per hour. And that's when the gauge broke. So we have our own idea of how we can measure the wind speed, and that is to count the amount of cats that fly past the kitchen window at any one given time. And that's why we call it the spinning cat, because the cats spin past the window, 1 cat a minute. It's really not that windy. 60 cats per minute, and you need to take your garden furniture in. And that's the cast iron stuff. 2, 3.
you very much. Well, just as we're getting all warmed up there, we're going to slow down a bit. We're going to play something a bit slower before it gets too late and you all fall asleep on us. This is a tune that I composed for all the whales that live around Orkney. As you can imagine, being the islands of Orkney, and there's been 70 islands. We have lots of beach. And we also have lots of fish, and where you have fish, you have seals, and where you have seals, you have whales. And these whales, particularly the killer whale or the orca whale, can quite often be seen in Orkney, which can be a bit disconcerting when you're going on your way to school on the boat and a big load of killer whales swim past.
Would we be right in saying that you had a bit of a, well, not a whale problem, but you had an awful lot of whales here, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody's admitting to it at all, are you?
You're awful shy, aren't you?
We were told that you used to have an abundance of whales in this area. Oh, you're right. Yeah. You ate them all, did you? Yeah. You're not giving much away.
Many years ago, we had whales here, you know.
Well, you can you can imagine the whales then from many years ago. And I named a tune for them. So you just have to basically close your eyes and imagine that you're in the middle of the North Sea. Might take a little bit of imagination. And you're freezing cold and soaking wet. Only on one side, of course, because you only get wet on one side in Orkney because of the wind. It blows like that, so the rain only goes. It's quite difficult actually because everybody knows where you've been.
Unless, of course, you totally scunner them by walking home. Then you're wet on both sides and I've got no idea where you've been.
So
you must have that problem here, don't you? This is quite a windy island.
what I can't understand is why you've got such a huge fireplace for a place that has so much sunshine. It just is it cosmetic? Is that what it is? It just looks lovely.
You know, if there was this much wood in Orkney, it wouldn't be there when you got back from your holidays, put it that way. I'm really worried about my piano because it's not a particularly good lock on my front door, and I'm sure they're going to go in and hack it up and burn it when I'm away. This is all just really a big diversion to tuning the guitar. That'll really improve the chances of the guitar. I think it's roughly right. Do you care?
Yes. yes. Right, well, so this is called Orca. very much. That was Skilled a Quay Point from Orkney, and then The Hawk, tune from England, and then The Salvation Reel, tune by a fantastic Edinburgh fiddler called Simon Bradley. Well, I think we're going to finish up now. We've had a lovely night. Thank you very much for listening and for having us. It's been fantastic. As well as the fact that we have to say a huge thank you to the Heritage Fiddle Ensemble and Tantalum for doing such a superb set in the middle of the concert. A huge thanks for them. Brilliant. Well done. I was a bit scared when I saw those fiddles. I'm not going on after them.
So was I.
They were all fantastic, and I think you should be so proud, and that you're going to have that you already have such a brilliant music tradition here. And I certainly really enjoyed coming and listening to the music here. So we're going to hope and see if we can get some of you over to Orkney for the folk festival. If we can, that would be nice. You'll have to come too. Try and get everyone in the boat.
When do you think we have to leave? Probably have to leave about now. How long does it take on a boat? Does anybody know? Has anybody done it?
So it took you about 6 months to get to Scotland, and then another 6 months to get to Orkney from Scotland. So,
actually, I have to tell you a funny story. There's the lifeboat man. I don't know if any of you are members of lifeboat crews here, but the coxswain of the Stromness lifeboat has a name for people who go pleasure sailing and pleasure boating. I don't know if anybody is into that kind of thing here.
Are you into that here? Do you like that? A little bit, okay.
Yes. Well, I'm sure it's meant in the nicest possible way, but he's a poor soul that has to get up in the middle of the night and go and rescue them when they get into trouble in the North Sea. And he calls them, you have to cover your eyes if you're under 18 for this, and cover your ears. He calls them waffies and moffies. And the waffies are wind-assisted idiots. And the moffies are, of course, motor-assisted idiots.
So you'll have to remember that.
He gets up out of his bed, everyone. I wonder how many waffies and moffies we'll have today.
Yeah.
Usually gets quite a few. But, it's all fun too, so.
What was it, Peary Willie Johnson from Shetland. He said he was on the phone to us the other day, and he was saying that some poor guy had been rescued off the upside down catamaran. He'd been in the North Sea for about 8 hours, and he'd clung on.
Amazing.
Somebody had to go and rescue him, so they went and got him. And I'm sure you get this a lot with all these races and things that go past you, but this is a little bit unusual, and for anyone to even contemplate doing that in the North Sea, but for fun. So he went out anyway, and of course, Willie was saying to us, they call the Shetland Islands the far-flung islands, but I don't think they flung them far enough. So you'll have to use that the next time if somebody really stupid is doing something off the coast of Tasmania. So, as well as of course, Tantalum and the fiddlers, of course, I have to say huge thank you to Tony for doing such a fantastic job on the sound all night. Well done, Tony. Thank you.
I really think that Tony has done such a fantastic job on the sound that we should really...
I wish that she hadn't done that.
Oh, it's okay, we won't be back for a couple of years.
And of course, I have to particularly thank Caroline for being the MC, and John for looking after us and inviting us here, and of course to Alistair, who's sitting right up the back, and he's helping sell the CDs as well, and Malcolm and everybody. If there's anyone else
and
we've
the
forgotten,
Queen,
so sorry. Don't forget the Queen.
Prime
Don't thank the Queen.
Minister, our mother for having us.
So we'll finish off with a big set of different tunes. We never really know what to play at the end because it's very sad and what do you play at the end. So we just usually mark it up as we go along. We'll try and use a little bit of our twin, like telepathic attunement. This could be interesting. Thank you very much for having us. We're the Wrigley Sisters. Thanks to the winery as well for such a lovely food and wine, which I'm yet to try, but I'll get there. Thanks so much for having us, and if you know anyone in St Mary's tomorrow, you better warn them to get out of town. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers. Take it. Thanks for having us.
I said, can you do an encore? And they said, if they want. Do we what?
I won. It's a bit embarrassing, really, but we don't actually know any more tunes. Okay then. I think we'll do a slower one for purely selfish reasons. This is one of that sounded painful. This is one of our favourite tunes from Orkney. It's from the island of Stronsey and it's called the Stronsey Waltz. So if you feel like having a pretty dance and, you know, get up and show us what you're made of. Thanks very much for having us and hopefully we'll get back to Tasmania to see you all again. Cheers.
Thanks very much, Jennifer and Hazel. That was a truly inspirational evening. Don't forget Jez Lowe on the 13th of April. He's almost as funny as they are. He's very witty. Right. Thanks for coming. Good night.